How you doing, everybody?
Shout out from Rich Crest.
Yeah. Today, it's been like 2 weeks since we've recorded.
Has it been 2 weeks?
I don't know, maybe just a week, but it feels like way too long.
I think it's been 2 weeks.
We've been caught up, man.
busy.
But
life happens.
we're finally recording another episode of the Egypt series, episode 2C.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Today's gonna be a wild, crazy episode. We're talking about romance.
Girls.
We're talking about love.
Fighting with friends over girls.
Talking about getting laid. I'm just kidding. We're not gonna really talk about that part very much. Well, maybe indirectly a little bit.
I don't know, bro. I mean, none of that happened out there.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Maybe it might have.
It did between the teachers and students.
That's disturbing.
I know. I just joking that. But anyway, man. But before we get into all that, hunky dory stuff.
Yeah.
First, we're gonna, there was one story Josh forgot to tell.
Oh, recap. Yeah.
Just give a little recap and just give this last story kind of a shorter shrift because I know you give the full detail on the. We're gonna give one more teacher's story.
Yeah. So we talked about that. I don't know how I referenced this teacher, but I called him the imperialist.
The imperialist.
Yeah, and the story goes like this. I was in the teacher's lounge, right? And I was just kind of minding my own business and whatnot. And a student walks in to make copies.
Yeah.
For another teacher. And I was just doing my own thing, right, on my computer. And the student felt comfortable enough to make a joke about me.
What kind of joke?
I honestly, dude, I don't know because I was not paying attention. I was just doing my own thing on my computer.
Was it a mean joke?
I don't know. I didn't even hear him.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't even hear the guy. I didn't even hear the student say.
I wonder what he said.
Yeah. And so when he said whatever he said, the imperialistic teacher, the other teacher,
the asshole guy,
got up and just started yelling at him and saying, "You don't disrespect teachers that way. You don't talk to us that way." And so whatever that student said really set one of the teachers off.
The imperialist?
Yeah. And to the point where he got him. He physically put his hands on him and dragged him outside and dragged him down the hallway. And this teacher was screaming and yelling, and it got so, and at one point he pinned the student against the wall and got in his face because the imperialist teacher, he has a military background.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. He was pretty enraged, and so he pushed the student against the wall and got in his face and started yelling at him. It got so bad that one of the other teachers kind of had to pull him away from the student because it got pretty bad.
Jeez, man.
Okay. Another story about this student. This student was a troublemaker, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
He was from Canada. He wasn't Egyptian. He was from Canada.
What the hell was he doing over there?
A lot of these parents that have troubled kids, they send them overseas thinking that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they send them overseas thinking that the school will straighten the student, straighten their kid out.
Send them to Egypt.
Yeah.
I'll straighten them out.
And it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So this particular student who got dragged in the hallway by this teacher actually got in it with another teacher. And what I mean by that is he got a pie and kind of smashed the pie in a teacher's face.
What?
It wasn't a teacher, it was a secretary.
That's funny. Why did he do it?
Because this kid isn't very bright. He's not bright.
He was just an asshole.
He was, yeah, and he wanted attention. He wanted, to be liked by the Egyptian students. And the Egyptian students liked him, not because he was a cool guy or smart.
Because he was funny?
Because he was an idiot.
Because he was an idiot?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
So this is a story that I wasn't there. I didn't see this. I did see when the imperialistic teacher pushed the student to the wall. I saw that.
Were you surprised?
I was scared.
Well, did you ever talk to him?
I never talked to him about that. Because he was
your roommate, man.
Yeah, but I never talked to him about that.
Didn't even bring it up, huh?
I didn't bring it up. No.
Oh.
There's a lot of things that happen in Egypt that would not fly in the States. And that being one of them. He would have been fired. He would have no career right now.
How did he not get fired for that?
No
dude?
one said anything.
The principal never heard about it?
No one ever heard. No one found out.
The hell, dude? Are you serious?
And I didn't say anything.
I'm surprised he didn't try to get that guy fired.
You know,
because you made him sound like such an asshole.
He is. But I didn't say anything, and I don't know why I didn't say anything.
Like, dude, that if you ever really got pissed at him, that would have been your number one.
That would have been my card right there.
That would have been your card. You could have threatened him with that.
I don't know why I didn't. I didn't say anything. No one said anything.
I think he would have attacked you.
He's got nothing on me.
No, I mean like physically. You think he's a violent person?
No, I don't. No, he's a introvert.
Yeah.
Ultra introvert. I hardly ever saw the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this student got that pie and kind of smeared it all over the secretary's face. The secretary retaliated. She beat him up.
It was a girl?
Yeah, she beat him up.
How big was this kid?
He was tall. He was like 6'1" or something. But he was super scrawny kid.
How big was the
teacher was like my height, 5'6".
But she was strong?
She's Brazilian, dude.
She's got fire in her belly.
She's Hispanic, man, and Hispanic women are, yeah, they got fire, dude.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I won't date Hispanic women, because I don't want to get beat up.
Fair enough, man.
I don't want to get my butt handed to me.
That's fair enough, man.
But she beat him up, and that everyone saw that.
So that humbled him, huh?
Well, I don't know what it did to him, but it got her in trouble. And
did she get fired?
No, but she wasn't asked to come back again.
Oh.
And she was planning on coming back.
Oh.
But they didn't ask her. And the weird thing is, too, I got vibes from her that she didn't like Egyptians. She didn't like the Egyptian people. She didn't like them.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So my question to her was, why do you want to, like, I didn't understand why she wanted to come back another year. Like, it didn't make sense. You don't like these people. Why are you torturing yourself to be there?
Wait, did you ever talk to her?
I did. Yeah, we were friends.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, we were friends.
Wow.
The girl I dated was friends with her, and I was really good friends with her boyfriend. And so the four of us hung out every once in a while. But I never approached her about it, and I never said, if you don't really like these people, why are you coming back?
I'm surprised, like, you never really asked people, like, you never, talked to people about that kind of thing.
It was one of those things where I didn't want conflict because I couldn't handle it anymore. I was just done.
You were just done with the drama?
I was done with Egypt. I was done with everything. I was just super depressed. I had a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
And I didn't want any conflict. I just wanted to finish the last few months without any more conflict. And any more I didn't want to go into even deeper depression.
Wow, man.
So eventually, yeah, she got in trouble. They didn't ask her to come back. And she ended up marrying the guy she met in Egypt. They ended up getting married.
Your friend?
My friend and who was her boyfriend.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
So they actually, when we went back home, she went back to Brazil. He went back to the States. And I think he flew out to Brazil to meet up with her. And then she went to the States to meet up with him, and then they got married.
Wow.
Yeah, so good for them. They're really cool people. I really like them.
Would you ever meet them again?
I would love to meet them again. I would love to see them again. They were just those those two particular people, that couple, and the girl I dated. They were really anchors for me. At the last year.
All right, man. That being said, that's a good segue. Like, take a few steps back. Let's go back all the way to the beginning of Egypt again and sort of retell the timeline of events, except from the perspective of friends and girls that you liked and such. And
so there was a girl, and she's something special because she's still there as we speak. She's still there. So she's been there for a total of 4 years, I think.
Is this the one I think I?
Well, it might be.
Okay.
She showed up around the same. My first year, I was obviously the first dumb person to show up there. I was like the first one to show up. But she showed up about a month later after school. Well, maybe not. Maybe like 3 weeks after school started or something. Yeah, but about a month after school started. Anyway, she was the secretary at the time.
Wait, how old was she?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't remember. She was young though. I was 28.
Oh.
She might have been 26.
Oh, okay.
And so we met there. She was from Argentina. And you get Egypt's a lonely place, right?
Yeah, man.
And the heart is a lonely hunter.
Yeah.
So, you see a girl, she's cute, she's smart, speaks 3 languages, learning a 4th one. You start to, gravitate towards these type of women there.
Yeah.
They're, college graduates, super smart girls. And so you start seeing that and you start finding these women attractive. The only thing is, I wasn't the only one who was becoming attractive to her.
Yeah.
My friend, who's from Australia, was also kind of falling for her as well.
Yeah.
And so, we had this. We started kind of this tug of war between me and my friend, and
wow.
We were like competing to see who can win her affection. So there was this one.
Do you think she noticed that?
She knew. She knew. There's no way she didn't know.
So she was
probably enjoying it. Yeah,
Wow.
probably.
That's cool, man.
No, it wasn't. It sucked.
It was cool for her.
Yeah, it would have been cool for her. So there was this one time we went to Alexandria. Oh wait, let me go back a little further. I actually invited her to, hey, let's go and hang out sometime.
So was that the first step?
That was my first attempt. I remember asking her. I asked her out and say, hey, do you want to go hang out? Maybe get something to drink, And she said, I forgot what she said. She obviously, it never happened.
Damn. Because
my other friend from Australia, I shouldn't say where he's from. Well, he's from Australia. He invited her to to an Australian bar to watch a rugby game.
Wait, there was an Australian bar in Egypt?
Or British bar.
Oh.
Something like that, in Egypt, in a really fancy city too. It was a really nice city.
There's British bars in
yeah.
In
Oh
Egypt?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. British were everywhere.
Oh, fair enough, actually.
And so he ended up he took her to this bar, really fancy bar, and I was kind of like, well, didn't I ask you out first? And what's going on here now? It's like, okay, I see that. Okay,
She chose him over
yeah,
you.
she chose him over me, and I was like, okay, whatever. Now I was pretty pissed off. It wasn't really whatever for me.
That's 1 point for the Australians.
For the Australians, and so I was pretty hurt. I can say, okay, it's whatever. That doesn't affect me. But it affected me.
Can I ask where the girl was from?
She was from Argentina.
Okay, it is the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Cute girl too. But I think I was more attracted to her because of her intellect. She was just super smart. 3 languages, English, Spanish, the fancy Spanish, and Portuguese.
Wow.
And on top of that, she was learning Arabic.
Wow.
So I think she's still learning that. So they hang out they hang out on the regular now. And I'm kind of just like, huh, okay. What? No, I'm acting like I'm trying to act all cool, like it doesn't bother me, but it's wrecking me, dude.
Oh, jeez,
It's
man.
destroying me. It's like whatever. It wasn't whatever. So but she's hanging out with him, but we talk every once in a while. We hang out, and I actually would after school. When all the students go to the dorm, all the teachers go back to their respected rooms or whatnot. I go to my classroom and listen to music there because there's a stereo there, and I connect it to my computer and listen to music on YouTube. Well, she would come every once in a while and hang out with me there.
Really?
Yeah. And so
That must have been fun.
yeah, it was, dude, man, I remember those nights, dude. Every time she would come over and listen to music with me or have dinner with me there, it was just like, there's just some moments in life you just cherish. And those nights I cherished. They were just magic, dude. They were magic.
That's like a ray of sunshine in the storms of Egypt.
In a sandstorm, sand blizzard, dude. It was just spending time with this girl, listening to music.
Was she fun to talk to?
She was super fun to talk to. This girl was like the package, man.
I want to meet her now.
This girl she's just fun and witty and smart and beautiful eyes
Wow, man.
and and there were times where we would hang out from like 8 o'clock to like 1 o'clock in the morning, like 2 o'clock in the morning. And it was just magic, dude. And I had to wake up like a couple hours later to go to work. And I never regretted it.
Yeah.
Even though I felt miserable the next day because I couldn't get up. I was just tired. It just spending time with a girl like that, dude, was just magic for me. It was just something. It was something special, and those are things like I hang on to those memories.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to the three of us, my friend, the girl, and my friend. Yeah, my friend. We went to Alexandria, and there's where you can really feel the tension between me and my friend because we were competing for her attention, for her affection.
So wait, what is it like when you guys were like, when there was tension? What was it like?
When the three of us were together,
Yeah.
it was like who can get more one-on-one time with her.
I know, but when you were like confronting him, like, were you in front of him? Like, were you guys like all tense? Like,
Yeah, we were pretty tense. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks, man.
We were competing. Like we would try to like call her, like to be alone. Like hey, come look at this with me. You know, it was stuff like that.
That's fucking funny.
Stuff like that, or the thing that I did. The thing that I did was to start speaking with her in Spanish.
Ooh.
And that pissed him off. Oh man, he got so pissed off. He just walked away. He's like, "Okay, so this conversation is in Spanish. I'm out of here. I'm leaving."
Wow, so you guys were playing chess right now.
Oh, dude, that's all it was.
You guys were playing strategy games at this point.
That's all it was.
Okay,
dude.
what was his strategy after that? How did he counter?
He couldn't.
He couldn't counterattack that?
He couldn't counter, dude. And we were there.
So that's 2 points for America.
And it gets better, dude. So we were talking, and one night I didn't want to be mean to my friend, so I said, "Hey, me and so are going to go get some coffee." I paused. "Do you want to come with us?" "Do you want to come with us?"
But you really didn't want him to come.
I did not want him to come at all.
Oh, well, you know what, man? You're a good guy for inviting him, but you shouldn't have invited him.
Well, let's. We went and got coffee, the three of us. Right. Okay. We have coffee, whatever. We walk around the city at night. Beautiful. Alexandria is a beautiful place, by the way.
Yeah.
Very beautiful place. So the next day, we all hang out, we go out, competition's still going, And finally, we come home, and I said, "Hey," to the girl, "do you want to come get some coffee with me? Just the two of us." And she said, "Yes." just the two of us.
Nice.
And so I go to my friend because I got, just out of courtesy, I'm going to tell him we're leaving. So I go to my friend and I tell him, me and so are going to go get coffee. We'll be back soon. And I don't remember him saying anything. And yeah, I don't remember him saying anything. And we just left. And he was there. He was
heartbroken.
Oh, dude, me and this girl left around 8 o'clock. We didn't come home until 7.
Oh my God.
In the morning.
Damn, dude, that must have been dude, tell me about that shit.
So,
were you feeling guilty a little bit?
No, because I went for the throat, dude.
But you felt a little bad for him.
No, I went for the jugular, dude.
You're like, leave my friend to die. Leave him to die of loneliness. Fuck this guy.
And so, let me make this clear. Egypt's a lonely place, dude. And anywhere you can find attention or affection from another person,
Especially a cute, intelligent girl like her,
you're gonna compete for that, dude. You're gonna compete for it. And so we and her went out and got coffee, and we walked along the city, along the beach, and we talked and talked and talked. I find out that this girl actually was going through a breakup. Her boyfriend at that time left her because he had to, quote unquote, find himself. So he left her and went to Europe to find himself. And she never really understood that, or from what I can remember. And so she decided to, you know what, I'm leaving too then. And she comes to Egypt. So she really opened up to me about her personal life.
Were you guys always speaking in Spanish?
No, we it was all in English after that. It was a strategic move for me.
What the hell?
It was a strategic move for me.
Wow, man, that's funny.
And well, it was really nice to hear her speak in Spanish too.
I would have tried, dude. If I had the power of fluent Spanish, I would have just because, man, those South American girls, they speak so beautifully, man.
Well,
hearing them speak in Spanish is.
Well, well, a lot of people will disagree and hate me for this, but I think Argentine Spanish is the fanciest. To me, I love hearing them talk.
Okay, have you heard Venezuelans, though?
I think Venezuelans and Colombians have a very similar, I don't know, they use similar words. They have, I don't know if are the accents similar? I don't think so, right?
Colombia is like more, it's kind of known for being in like in the back of the throat, if that makes any sense.
Because I had a friend from Colombia too, and he used very similar words as the girl from Argentina.
Yeah.
But they had, I want to say the accents were similar, but I don't want to say that they were the same. They were similar.
Yeah. But anyway,
yeah.
Sorry to take you off on that tangent.
No, that's all right. And so, yeah, she really opened up to me, and I told her, I want to go home. I told her I was ready to go home. I couldn't be there anymore. And she says,
"Wait, why couldn't you be there anymore?"
Because I was so depressed by that time, dude.
But you guys were having a good time, weren't you?
We were having a good time, yeah.
But you were that depressed?
I was so depressed, dude.
I mean, that should have been like, you achieved your goal. You got to be with this girl. I mean, man, wasn't that like the best time of your life?
It was. It was one of the best times I had in Egypt, was to spend that time with that girl.
Man, you spent a whole 11 hours with her.
Yeah. And alone with her, yeah. And so I told her, I want to go home, and she says, "Don't go home. I'll be your friend." And that just sank so deep into my heart, dude.
Oh, gosh dang it. You meant you wanted to go home to America?
To America.
I thought you meant you wanted to go home for the night.
No. I didn't want to go home for the night, dude. I just wanted to spend as much time as I could with that girl. Just to be around her was.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Remember, I'm so depressed at this time, dude. And just being around this girl just made life better for me.
Yeah.
And so I told her I wanted to go back to the States, and she said, "Don't go. I'll be your friend."
That
And
must
I
have been a
was like,
heart-touching moment.
it
Man.
was, dude. It shook the foundations of my heart.
Wow, dude.
And so no, she said, "I'll be your friend," and that's what I really needed. It was just a friend, dude. Not a significant other, just a friend, dude. Okay, maybe a significant other. Maybe a significant other. But that's not what that ended up being.
Huh.
We went out, we hung out a lot, dude. We went to the movies.
You guys were a pair.
I guess you get whatever that means, a pair.
I mean, you were basically kind of like significant others, except without
The title?
and without like, you guys didn't do a lot of touchy-feely stuff.
No, we didn't do any of that.
Yeah, but everything else besides the, physical aspect, it was a relationship for all
Yeah, and
intents and purposes.
yeah, and we would go to the movies. I would pay for everything for her.
Man, I can't believe she didn't want to just take the next step and make it, official.
I don't know. Okay. One, she's from Argentina, and Argentinian women are hard to get.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
They're like, you gotta climb Mount Everest to prove
What
that
the fuck were you supposed to do for that?
I don't know. And I told her, I would tell her, she knew how I felt about her. She knew.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until a year later that I was actually dating a girl in Egypt where I found out that she liked me. And so.
Damn, dude.
But she never told me that she liked me.
Why didn't you ask her out? Or ask her to be your official?
I don't know why I didn't ask that. I don't know. But we hung out a lot, dude. Every moment that I spent with that girl was like a highlight of
Made it all worth it.
Made the suffering worth it. Yeah, dude. She was that girl. Yeah, I can still say she's an incredible girl because one, she's still there.
Jeez,
she's
dude.
still in Egypt.
I know you still want to meet her again someday.
One day, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe.
Probably never will, though.
Probably never will.
That's sad.
It happens, dude. Stuff like that happens.
Isn't that sad, though?
It is, but I wouldn't want it any other way. Because that's like the end. That's like the perfect ending to a book or to a movie. It's like you never see them again. This ain't The Notebook, man.
You don't. Damn, man.
No, I would like to see her again, but I don't know if I ever will, and I probably won't see her ever again.
Fair enough, man.
But yeah, I mean, I believe it or not, I've talked to her a couple times this year.
How was it, man?
How was what?
Talking to her.
It's special. It's I care about all my friends.
Yeah. Is
like
she happy to hear your voice?
Yeah, I actually I deleted the messages, but she said when we talked again, which was a couple months ago, she says everything in Egypt reminds me of you.
Dude, what the heck?
Yeah, or she said all the little things remind me of you.
Bro, she misses you, man.
I don't know, but yeah.
Man.
But we don't really talk much, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I tell her that what she's doing is something special. That her work is, because what we do is mission work. So yeah. I tell her that what she's doing is blessed by God, and she's something. I tell her that she's special.
Okay, let me ask you this I'm about to ask you a weird question, man.
Oh no.
Okay.
All right. Can I plead the fifth, or I don't? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's not weird in like a sexual way or anything like that.
Well, no, I mean, I may not be able to answer it.
Oh, well, that's what this podcast is all about. Huh?
Trying to answer the unanswerable.
Yeah. So this is definitely this is on the hypothetical side of things. This is unanswerable as all be. But let's say we go into the future.
Yeah.
You're in South Korea right now. You made your choice. You moved to South Korea.
Okay.
Now let's say, for whatever reason, there's a set of alternate universes but there's limited options and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you, in this point in the future, you're in South Korea. Somehow you meet this this benevolent spirit that comes to you and tells you about, what would have happened if you did different things. And he tells you, this is going to sound so stupid, but he tells you that if you would have said or done a certain set of things that you just were too afraid to say right now, that she would have moved to America to be with you. Would you regret not doing those things? Or would you be okay with it?
I don't know, man. Because I think I would be okay. I would be okay.
Fair enough, man.
I think I would be okay.
Fair enough.
Because I'm okay now. I'm okay now. I think we might have talked about this once upon a time, but you know how I think we do you remember one time we talked about how there's certain girls in this world that you just walk the world for?
Yeah.
She was one of those girls. Just one of these girls that you just walk through fire for. It wouldn't matter where in the world this girl would be,
Would you move back to Egypt for?
There's powers on this earth that probably would make me go back.
You'd move back to Egypt for her, huh?
Maybe. But so much has to go into place, man. So much has to fall into place, dude. There's just so much that has to fall into place.
So that's just a big ass leap.
Yeah, it's just like
That's big, man.
that's unlikely to happen.
You don't want to relive Egypt, do you? Ever.
I don't know, man. It's okay. Look, she would never ask me that, and I probably would never do it.
Yeah, I know.
She would never ask me to go back to Egypt, and I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But what if she did ask me to come back? Those are things I don't think about, actually. I don't really think about stuff like that.
It's probably not worth it, huh?
It's just there's just better things to think about.
Fair enough, man.
But she's one of those girls. Like if she finds a guy and a guy, if she's just one of those girls that she's just one of those girls that you just walk the world for.
Yeah.
Because she loves God. She's mission minded. She's dedicated to her work. And she's caring. She's a caring person. She's a genuinely caring person. And if you can manage, and if any guy can manage to win her over, dude, she would, she's Hispanic,
Yeah.
Hispanic women take care of their men.
Yeah. That's for damn sure, man.
So if you can win her heart, man, any guy who wins her heart is one lucky guy. So.
Except for the devil. Because she was Hispanic.
Me?
No, I was talking about the girl.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't she Brazilian?
Yeah. No, this is another girl. I don't want to make, there were two Brazilian girls.
But one of them was the devil.
One of them was the devil.
Oh,
One
man.
of them was the devil.
Well, I guess she did marry the imperialist. Maybe she did take care of him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, overall, we talked a little bit. We don't talk anymore. She hasn't reached out again. And, life.
You should talk to her again, man. Talk to her about South Korea.
I don't really like to bother people.
What?
I don't like, if like I messaged her and she never messaged back. Okay, so I'm not going to like.
Oh, she never messaged you back?
Right. So I messaged her once. We were having this conversation. I messaged her and she never messaged back. And so I'm not going to like.
Yeah, I didn't know about that part.
Yeah. I'm not going to message back. Say, hey, why haven't you messaged me back?
Never mind. Yeah, just leave it.
I just leave it be. And you know what? I like how it ended. That's fine with me. I'm okay. I'm okay with a lot of things in life now.
Yeah, well, that's good, man.
So that's the story of her, man.
All
and
right.
she just, I was just very fortunate and lucky to have met her.
Yeah, and to have spent that 11 hours with her and all that stuff.
Spent so much time with her. We had a lot of time together, one-on-one.
Let me ask you this.
One-on-one, yeah.
If she was never there, if she never was in Egypt.
I don't want to think about that.
How bad do you think it would have been?
I don't want to think about that.
Let's not, though.
I don't want to think about what life would have been if she wasn't there.
It would have been really, really bad, though. Huh?
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm so sorry.
I don't even want to think about it. No.
I'm changing the subject. All right. I'm so sorry, man.
No. I'm not offended or anything. It's just that's how
bad it is.
Yeah, that's how bad it was over there. I don't even want to know about what life would have been if she wasn't there.
Okay.
But my friend, I almost said his name. But my friend from Australia, we reconnected.
Yeah.
We reconnected after he saw what was happening. And me and her actually stopped talking for some time.
Oh, yeah.
I found out that she was going to Dubai. And all of a sudden, I was just like, it's like a dark cloud came over my head again because we were really good friends. And so she ended up moving to Dubai.
Whoa.
And me and my friend. Oh, shit. I said his name. Can you edit that out?
Yeah, sure.
My friend from Australia, my friend and I reconnected. You can just blur that out, right?
Yeah, I can cut it out. That's about 36 minutes, yeah.
We reconnected, and so he was a huge anchor for me as well. He brought a lot of things into perspective.
That was me. Sorry, man.
Yeah, it's okay. He brought a lot of things into perspective for me, and just made life in Egypt easy for me. So even though she left, my friend and I, things were okay. So even if she wasn't there, I think it would have been okay. I think life in Egypt would have been okay if she wasn't there.
Just wouldn't have been as good.
It wouldn't have been as good, though. It wouldn't have been as good. Because my friend from Australia was there, and he made life awesome there. He made life so much easier for me.
He was a really cool guy.
He was super, man. If you don't have a friend from Australia, you got to get yourself from Australia. You got to get yourself a friend from Australia. Dude, Australians are some of the coolest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
They're some of the chillest people. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I've known a couple people from Australia.
They're pretty cool people, right?
Yeah, they really are.
They're really, yeah. And so I was actually really bummed out when he moved back to Australia. And that was really hard for me because everyone went home and I stayed and the school was empty and I was the only teacher there.
You were the only teacher?
I was
Why?
the only teacher because I decided not to go home. I decided to do another tour, another year.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. And so everyone was gone. And the whole house was to myself. And
so you had to meet new people?
I had to do it all over again.
All new people?
All over again.
Damn. All right, so wait. So that was all the first year. That was the only girl from the first year?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into year 2 then.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
a lot happened year 2?
I want to compare it to a movie, but I can't think of what movie to compare it to. Year 2. Now this girl, she was from Oregon, so we'll just call her the Oregonite.
Oregonite? Yeah.
She was from Oregon, and she came late. Actually, she came in October, and I remember the first time I saw her. It was this cute. She has such defining physical features. I want to describe her, but I don't know if I should.
Oh, why not?
I don't know. Okay. I remember when I saw her and she had curly red hair, and I just like, man, who is this girl? Who is this girl? And she had such a bright smile, and she had like, if I can remember correctly, she had some deep blue eyes, man. This girl was just, man. She definitely lit my fire, dude.
Oh, wow.
She's, man, I like, who is this girl? You know, what's your name, what's your number kind of thing.
How you doing?
Yeah. And so we, I don't know. I'm trying to find out where a good place. We hung out we hung out as a group. You know, before anyone was dating anyone, we would all play Monopoly and
Oh, that's cool.
take it to ride. Dude, if you ever play Monopoly, just careful, man. You might lose friends.
Oh, dude, I know, man.
Yeah,
I know.
And since we were like, it was 5 of us there, right? We would play Monopoly.
Monopoly
all the time.
destroys friendships, man.
Dude, we got good at Monopoly.
Really?
We got so good at it that actually, when I came home back to the States, I played a game of Monopoly with some friends. And I don't want to brag or anything, but dude, they had no chance against me.
Really?
I destroyed them, dude.
I didn't even know that was a very skill-based game.
It's just how, there's certain styles of how people play. I'm a very aggressive player, and so I know there's particular properties that I want, and I'm willing to trade just about anything just to get those particular properties, because they're quick to build, on. Anyways, I come back, play a game of Monopoly, and just kill. I just kill. But that's because in Egypt, that's all we did was play Monopoly or do other stuff.
Was that kind of a shining moment? Like, were those like cherishable moments in Egypt, like Monopoly nights?
Yes. Now that I think about it, anytime I hung out with my friends, when we interacted as a group, because that only happened for a few months, because after we all coupled up, we all went our separate ways.
Damn, dude.
And so we did almost nothing as couples.
There was a coupling up phase.
Yeah. And so, but at first we were a group, 2 guys from the university, 1 girl from the university, which is the girl I dated, and a girl from Brazil.
Man, why didn't you guys keep hanging out? I guess you'll get to that.
Yeah. And so so at first we were a group, played Monopoly, nearly killed each other a couple times over that. And then so for me, that first, the freshness of a new year, I was on a high, getting to meet new people, the work of, doing that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I can start feeling like depression coming back in, because
Trickling back in.
yeah, it's just, homesick,
Yeah.
Being homesick's a real thing, dude. Being homesick is, it's terrible.
The sword of time will pierce our skin.
And so, so we hung out as a group, and so there were 3 guys, including myself, and 2 girls. And so the 3 of us were trying to okay, who's gonna get who? Who's gonna go for who?
This is more than just a competition. This is a group brawl.
Yeah. And so I remember one of the guys saying, "I'm gonna go for the redhead."
Oh,
I'm gonna go.
You didn't like that, did you?
I played it cool, because I was like, all right, bro. I was like, cool, man. Yeah, I encouraged him. Really? Yeah, go for him. Yeah, go for her. And so,
but you were gonna Quazali ambush her.
That's a magic term.
We just played some magic. I'm dumb.
I remember him saying, me and her are gonna hook up, or meaning we're gonna date.
Yeah,
we're gonna get together. And I was like, yeah, go for it, man. Yeah, that's a good idea. And so we a couple months in, or October is rolling by, and we go on our first break or something, and the 5 of us, we decide to go on a trip to the Siwan Desert, to the Siwa Oasis. That's out in near the border of Libya.
Yeah, you showed me the pictures of that one.
I have to look at the map again. And so that's where I actually started to make moves on her.
Wow.
Being flirty, being super flirty with her. And I made it obvious to her, and she responded. There's just so much I want to say, man, but I don't know how much I should say.
Well, go for it, man.
That's where I was kind of like, okay, I like this girl. And so I was being flirty with her, and she knew it. And that was a good trip too. We all hung out. That's one of the few times we ever hung out. And so we were going back to the bus ride. I have to think about this because there's so much that happened, and it's all very important. So this girl, also the redhead, had boyfriend problems. She couldn't get over her ex.
If you want, I can pause just so you can collect your thoughts.
No, yeah, that might be. Yeah, we might have to do that.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a short break because this is still like a year or two away from Josh. So, we'll get back to you in a bit. All right, now we're back.
Yeah, sorry about that. There's just a lot of stuff that I had to think about, and of course, I talked to you about this off the air. There's some stuff I don't feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
With the audience.
And I don't blame you, actually.
So it was just really trying to pick out stuff that I'm comfortable sharing with people.
Yeah.
But yeah, this story, even though it's about this particular girl, is actually really a story about the other group as well, like the friends I made there. Because although none of us were coupled up yet, we all hung out. We were a group.
Yeah.
And once we decided to, who was going to date who, unfortunately, one of the guys was left out.
Yeah.
And when we coupled up, we all went our separate ways. The couples went their separate ways. The Brazilian girl and one of my friends, who also was a redhead, they dated, and they went separate. They went to the other, another place.
So once they couple up, they leave the group.
We left the group. The group was no more.
Damn, dude.
And that unfortunately left one of the other guys by himself.
Why didn't you guys do like triple dates, like double dates and triple dates?
We did do that, but it wasn't. We might have done that like maybe once or twice.
Oh, okay.
And they weren't I don't remember them very well.
Oh, okay.
But it was I remember most of the time it was just us being with our significant others.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
And I felt really bad because one of the other guys who didn't have someone to couple up with, he was by himself the entire time.
Oh, that poor guy.
Yeah. And I know for a fact it was hell for him.
That poor guy.
Yeah.
Man. I can't even imagine how it must have been to see all these people couple up and have someone to hold on to throughout all this shit.
Right.
And then look at yourself and see, I'm still fucking lonely.
Yeah. Yeah.
That must have been hard.
And the thing is, like, it sucked even more because we would go on trips and the couples would go together. And he would have to go he would have to go off by himself or with another group. I remember going to Greece one time. It was kind of like a spontaneous thing. And I said to the redhead, the girl, I told her, hey, let's go to Greece. Like, let's do something crazy. And she said, okay, let's go. And so we went to Greece for like about a week. And of course, her ex-boyfriend is in the back of her head. And so he found out that we were in Greece and he gives her crap for that. But we had a good time in Greece, We went on a week that everything was open for free. So we saw all these cool historical sites. We ate some authentic food. And we just had a great time. But the reason I say the story about Greece is because when we got back, she got in trouble because the principal didn't like the idea that we went off to Greece together by ourselves, because the school it's a private religious school.
Yeah.
And so the principal didn't really approve of us going. So he made kind of, and remember, this is the principal who's kind of incompetent anyways.
Yeah.
But he got upset with her. He made shallow threats that I'm going to go tell your advisor and you can be in serious trouble for this. And it's like, nothing happened. we stayed in a hostel where we slept in a room with like 3 other people, but I guess, I don't know, the principal needed to feel important that day, and so he kind of gave her an earful about her quote unquote bad choices, and so the principal, so she comes up to me and tells me about this thing, and she felt bad. She felt terrible because she didn't, she's trying so hard to like be on everyone's good side, be neutral about whatever conflicts are going on, and all of a sudden she does one little thing that's like not seen right, and she gets in trouble.
Yeah.
And so she's really like scared about that. Like she doesn't want the principal to go and talk to her advisor back in the States. So that burdened her. She's having problems with her roommate, the devil.
Yeah.
He's having problems with her. And on top of that, she's having problems, still family. I think there was some family issues there.
Man, she had a stressful time.
Yeah, there were some things going on back at home, and of course, her stupid ex-boyfriend was in Lebanon, and was still kind of trying to be in her life, even though he didn't want to have a relationship with her.
How was he in Lebanon?
So he was also out on doing mission work duty.
Oh.
And they happened to go at the same time, but they weren't together. And so he's trying to still be an influence in her life.
Yeah.
Like try to be involved, but doesn't want to commit.
Oh.
So believe it or not, dude, I was a rebound, unfortunately, and I was okay with that.
Yeah.
I was okay with that. And I can be a rebound once. Everyone's a rebound once in their life, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. And so I had to like deal with. She would talk to me about her ex every once in a while, and just to hear her out, I would not care about it. But yeah, and a lot of the students also would like disrespect her because she had very fair skin, and so a lot of the guys would like kind of be rude to her, like there was an example where a student told her, "Where are you going, miss?" She said, "I'm going to my classroom." And he replied by saying, "You don't go anywhere without telling me."
What?
Yeah. So she had to deal with a lot of that.
That sucks.
Yeah. And because of her her fair complexion, she stuck out like a sore thumb, dude.
Yeah.
She just stuck out. And so a lot of people would like touch her, and like I remember one time we were trying to get to some place. We were trying to go out and eat, and some random guy just touched her, like was touching her arm, and like yeah.
Did you find him?
No, I didn't even see it. I didn't even know.
Oh.
She told me later. So she had to deal with a lot there too. Culture shock, dealing with the stupid principal, incompetent people, dealing with the devil, and then dealing with problems back at home, and then her stupid ex-boyfriend. But we had some awesome times, dude. I mean, we went to Greece. We clicked, dude. I mean, we liked a lot of the same music. We would listen to music. We would stay up every night until the next day. I mean, we would just listen to music. We would read lyrics together. We would try to interpret what the lyrics were saying.
Oh, that sounds fun, man.
It was a lot of fun, and we watched movies in my classroom, and we would just try to interpret things and try to make sense of stuff. And we really connected. And though she was lonely, and I was lonely,
Yeah.
and so we kind of just two lonely people just found each other and try to make it work.
But you guys had a lot in common.
We had a lot in common. We liked a lot of the same music. We shared a lot of, we just clicked, man. We were just two kids from the West Coast, super laid back, super chill.
Yeah.
Even though, we had a bunch of stuff on over our shoulders. We just really clicked. And we helped each other get through hard times. We were there. I remember her crying a couple times because she would get in fights with a roommate. And I tried to do my best to be there for her. And as, we went out a couple times. I remember taking out for Valentine's Day. We went to the city and I took her to a really nice dinner. I remember another time I would take her to these really cool dinner spots in Cairo.
Yeah.
It's like she was quite impressed actually with my selection.
That's really cool.
And so I would take her, to really nice restaurants with live music, and then we would go to like these nightclubs. And like that was her thing. Like she loved listening to like live music. And even though we were far from home, we would go to these places and it would remind us of home.
Oh, really?
And that's when we would talk about, are we going to try to make this work when we leave this place?
Jeez. Were you hopeful at the time?
I wanted it to work so bad.
Did you think it would at the time?
I did. And I really, really liked this girl, dude. And I wanted it to work out.
Why couldn't it work out?
Because we lived in different states, and her boyfriend still had an influence over her.
Wait, why?
Because...
Why didn't you just block him? Did he ever fight about that? Like, did he ever just go, just block him? Did he ever have that kind of fight?
No, but her friend and the girl, her Brazilian friend, and her would have that conversation.
What did she do?
She would do it, but then...
Unblock him?
Yeah.
Oh, my...
So, like I said, I was a rebound.
Why do girls do that?
Believe it or not, believe it or not, a lot of girls do that.
I know a lot of girls do that. Shit,
and
dude.
I don't get it, dude. I
stupid.
don't get it, dude. It makes no sense to me. Like, and then they're like broken up, right? These girls are broken up, and they're looking. And they find someone they like, but yet they can't let go of their ex-boyfriend. They still talk to him. They still hang out or whatever. It's like I don't get that. It's
Me neither, man.
It's like I don't know.
But I guess it's just a psychology thing.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't understand it either. It's frustrating as all hell.
Yeah.
It's like,
especially when you like someone, and like I like this girl, but her stupid boyfriend was in the background still.
Was he like saying shit like, "Oh, this guy's not good. He shouldn't." Was she like discouraging her from dating you?
I don't know. I never asked. I didn't want to know.
Oh, yeah.
But I just know that he wanted to get back. Well, he wanted all the benefits without being committed to her.
Oh.
So.
Why'd she even give him the time of day?
I don't because I saw her a year later. After we moved back home to the States,
Yeah.
I saw her a year later at a convention.
Really?
Yeah, but maybe we shouldn't talk about that right now. We'll get to that point.
Okay, we'll get to that later.
Okay, so her boyfriend. So we talked about, can we make this work when we get back home? And we were both like on the love high. He says, yes, we can make this work.
Oxytocin.
So we started planning our futures together, dude. We started planning, and as you know, we started planning. She's like, she's told me I would move to California to do my teaching over the summer, and we can spend all summer together.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, that's great. I was excited, dude. And I was making plans for her to stay at my dad's, like my dad's house with, family there. Just making arrangements.
Wow, man.
And and then as time started going and we were getting closer and closer to going home, I started realizing that this isn't going to work out.
What made you realize that?
I don't know what made me. I started feeling like this isn't going to work out.
It was just a sign. You got a sign, or what?
I started thinking about it. Like, how often am I going to see this girl?
Oh, that. Why didn't you just move to Ridgecrest with you or something?
Because I was in Ridgecrest at the time. Ridgecrest wasn't in the picture yet. I was just planning to live. My goal, my thinking was I was just gonna go back to LA and just decompress from the last 2 years.
Why didn't you move to LA?
I wasn't because she was going. Well, where was she gonna live? Not with me. I can't. I'm living with my parents at that point.
Oh
so.
yeah.
What was I? I wasn't planning on working. Actually, I was just gonna decompress, kind of get my thoughts together from the last 2 years, try to make sense of everything that happened.
Yeah. A lot of crazy shit happened.
Yeah. And so I started realizing, like, how often am I going to see this girl? And I started realizing, like, it's not going to happen. This isn't going to work out. But I wanted it to work out, and I kept, like, fighting it. And I remember one time she asked me, "Are you okay?" We were walking back home from visiting one of our friends, the Brazilian girl.
Yeah.
And she says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." But she walked ahead of me, dude, and I started crying, dude, because I knew it wasn't gonna work.
Did she see you crying?
No, she never saw me. Yeah, she saw me cry once, but she didn't know I was crying about this.
What'd she think you were crying about? Just the situation?
She didn't know I was crying. She didn't hear. I kept tears started rolling down my eyes, but she didn't hear me. I didn't make it.
Oh, okay. Damn, that sucks, man.
Because it was the night we were leaving too. It was the night that we were leaving. And I knew it. And I knew it at the bottom of my heart. I knew it deep in my soul that it wasn't going to work out. But but I fought it, dude. And I fought it so hard. I said, no, this is going to work. I know it's going to work. It was just this huge conflict inside me. I wanted it to work, but I knew it wasn't. And the more I fought against it, the more it hurt, dude. It was like this. It wasn't just emotional pain. It was a physical pain at this point.
Yeah.
And that was our last night there, dude. We got on the bus. We got on our, transport in the car, and they drove us to the airport. And as we were driving there, I held her hand tightly, dude. I didn't want to let her go because I knew that the minute I let her go, I wasn't going to get her again.
Yeah, I've had a moment like that myself.
Yeah.
I've had a moment like that personally, actually.
Those are hard moments, dude.
Can I tell my moment?
Yeah, go for it, dude.
So there was this girl I dated. And I actually did a podcast with her once.
Yeah.
That can't be released,
Yeah.
sadly. But I might do another podcast with her in the future.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, she was in this really abusive relationship. She, I worked with her at Taco Bell. I met her. I found out about how terrible it was. She was in it for 2 years, and I don't know. Eventually, a bunch of stuff happened, and some course of events took place that eventually led to her leaving, finally being able to leave her ex-boyfriend, and then basically like moving in with her aunt and uncle, and it just led to her and aunt and uncle saying, "You gotta go. We can't deal with this bullshit anymore. We can't risk you getting back together with that guy, and so you gotta go to Colorado and you gotta join the army." And me and this girl were kind of in love,
Yeah.
like because I was the one that didn't give up on her.
Right.
Like there was almost every single person at that job gave up on her at some point.
Yeah, that sucks.
And I was the only one that didn't give up on her.
You made the difference in this girl's life, dude. Like,
yeah, I mean, at least that was the final catalyst that allowed her to do it for herself.
Yeah, dude.
But anyway, we dated for 2 weeks, man, and we were so like, dude, to this day, I cannot think of another girl I've connected with better.
Yeah.
Like in every way.
Yeah.
Like dude, if I could relive those 2 weeks, those were the best 2 weeks of my life by far.
Yeah.
Maybe not by far, but they were pretty damn good 2 weeks, man. And I'd relive them. And I remember I was with her aunt and uncle when we were taking her to the airport. And
wow, in L.A.
No, it was in Ontario.
Okay.
And her uncle, I went in with her aunt and uncle, and then her uncle said, "All right, we're gonna give you guys a little moment, and then she's gonna leave, and we're gonna leave together."
Oh man, this is like out of a movie, dude. What the hell,
And
dude?
I was there with the love of my life at the time, man. Like this girl, and I looked at her, and she looked at me, and we were talking like.
Did you guys make out?
No, we basically said, "We're gonna make this work. We'll see. I'll try to see you in Colorado. Like we'll try to make this work, right?" And in my mind, I was just thinking, this probably isn't gonna work. It's extremely unlikely. But then we kind of looked in each other's eyes and remembered all the amazing moments from the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks were the best. They flew by like this.
Yeah.
But we did so much stuff together in those 2 weeks. Like we took advantage of every moment that it felt like, a couple months that we were dating.
Dang.
Like it compared to any other relationship I had before that point, it was just like, I was like, wow, this is what love is, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, then we kissed and I said goodbye to her forever. I have not seen her in person since. I've talked to her.
Does that still sting?
Oh, yeah, it does, dude. I still think about her sometimes. I still miss her sometimes. So I know kind of what you were talking about.
Oh, man.
Yours was a lot more severe, I can tell.
No, yours was pretty. Yours. No, don't downplay what you went through, dude. That was intense. You've told me the story. Maybe you should do a podcast on that.
Yeah, I think I'll tell the full story on another podcast.
But you told me that story, dude, and that's nothing to look past, dude. That was intense.
Because I went through stress during those weeks trying to help her out of that too.
Yeah, you guys, if Elvis ever does that podcast, that's an intense story. Yeah. So
we'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, I'll let you continue. I'm sorry to take
over
this podcast.
No, it's fine. Yeah, so as we were going back, I held on to her hand because I knew that as soon as I let go, I wasn't ever going to get her back. I wasn't going to hold her again. But I had to. And her plane took off first, but I landed in the States faster than she did, sooner. I landed in the States first. And I remember, so I'm gone. This story is the end of Egypt.
Dang.
That's it.
That's it. That's the end of Egypt.
That's the end of Egypt.
Holy crap.
That's it. We're done. Egypt's done. And so before we go on, I remember the principal asking me, "What are you going to miss about Egypt?" And I said nothing.
Holy crap.
I straight up said that to his face. I said nothing. I'm not going to miss anything here.
What did he say?
He didn't say anything. I just wanted to put that out there. He didn't say anything.
Man.
But and the title of this podcast is what? desert, ripples in the desert sand.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that, life after Egypt, because the
Yeah.
title is not just a random title. It has meaning.
Dude, I think are we still gonna do the untold stories about how you got deported and all this?
Yeah, we
crazy
can
stuff?
do that. Yeah,
Because there's a lot of good meaty stories in there.
There's some good. There's like some adventurous stories, like crazy stuff in there.
But is that the end of the girls' podcast, or you got some more?
No, I'm gonna finish up. Well, with the girls' podcast, I'm gonna finish it up.
Okay, let's finish it up.
But as far as Egypt's concerned, that's it.
Damn, dude.
That's
Holy
it. That's
shit.
the end of Egypt. I waited about 2 hours for my flight to take off because I wanted to go with her to the airport, and so we got flights that were kind of taking off at the same time.
Yeah.
But I remember landing back in LA, dude, and life was just different. Everything seemed gray.
The heck?
Everything was like gray, like dark gray. Like literally. I look outside the airplane window, and it's like everything's concrete here. And in the Middle East, everything's sand. Everything was like this nice tan looking color.
Yeah.
And I come here and everything's like charcoal.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't remember my home looking like this. And I go home and, I greet everyone and I'm, like this is like life is still going, And the problems with this girl started occurring that, like, I can't see her. And yeah, we have all the technology, and we would do that, but I couldn't touch her, dude.
Yeah.
I just couldn't embrace her. And so I said, do you want to come out and see me? And she didn't seem very interested. But I offered to go there, and she said, yeah, that was fine. So I went. So after a month, after moving back home, I went a month to Oregon to see her.
Wow.
And I knew that was the last time I was going to see her. I knew it. I had pain, it hurt. But I knew that was the last time I was ever going to see her again. And to just hold her and smell her and see the color of her red hair and just look into her eyes and just be lost. I knew that was going to be the last time I ever bought her anything. I knew it was the last time we were ever going to go out to a nice dinner. I knew that was the last time I was ever going to kiss her. And it just ripped I was there for a week, and every day it was just harder and harder and harder. But it was basically saying goodbye to her that whole week.
Damn, man.
I was basically just saying my goodbye.
That's a really, really sad story, man.
And I really liked her. And so I left. And we were still together, but I left back to LA. And she went off to college. She had to drive out to college out in Nebraska. And that's where we talked less and less and less. She was, you see your friends again. You hang out with them. You go to parties with them. And all of a sudden, I'm not there anymore. I'm just not even an afterthought. And her ex-boyfriend's there. And they're talking and they're partying together. And I don't hear of her. I call her, I try texting her, and she doesn't get back for like hours.
Oh man.
And so I knew it, dude. I knew this was gonna happen. But even knowing it didn't prepare me for like the pain that I was about to go through. Being home was supposed to be a safe place for me, dude. Like, home was supposed to be somewhere that I can feel okay about myself. And it wasn't. By the time we broke up, I was already here in Ridgecrest. And when we broke up, I remember it took me like 3 months to get over it, dude. But every day it was like, I was just constantly crying, dude. It was just like ripping through me. And it's not even the worst breakup I've ever had either.
Sheesh.
The worst breakup I ever had was like 2 years to get over. But breaking up is never easy, dude. And this was painful. And I was already here in Ridgecrest when that happened. And like I said, being home, I was supposed to feel safe. I was supposed to feel okay about myself. But I wasn't feeling okay. Matter of fact, it was Egypt all over again for me.
Damn.
Loneliness, depression, not having anyone there, not having friends, dude. When I was in Ridgecrest, I didn't have friends for a year and a half, dude. Wow. Almost a year. I didn't know anyone for a year, dude. And it was Egypt all of us. Like, why is this happening again? Like, I remember going to McDonald's one time. Here's the McDonald's here on.
Yeah.
And I remember just sitting there and just crying, dude.
Whoa.
I was crying in McDonald's and like,
jeez, man.
I wanted to go home to LA. But I don't know if going home back to LA would have been any better. I just didn't, it was Egypt all over again for me. Because one, I lost my girlfriend. I had no friends. I felt lonely. And I was just falling into depression again. It got so bad here, dude, that I wanted to like hurt myself.
Jeez.
It got that bad for me. So now we're actually getting into life after Egypt.
Yeah.
Should we continue?
I mean, how long do you think the life after Egypt story is?
It's the ending. It's not very long, but I think it's worthy enough to be on its own.
Okay. Well then.
But let me wrap up this thing about this girl.
Okay.
So, yeah, life in Egypt, back at home was Egypt all over again for me. But, I saw this girl not too long ago again. I saw her like a couple months ago, the redhead girl. I saw her at a teacher's convention. And I wasn't, there weren't old feelings there. I just still cared for her. I cared for her. And we talked about what happened after. I told her that how deeply I cared for her. And she told me about her ex-boyfriend. She was now dating him again.
Oh, fuck.
And I said, why are you dating him again? Like, you kept telling me all these bad things about him, but then you're with him again? And you know what her bullshit response was?
What? I
invested too much in him.
The hell is that?
I don't know, dude. She said, I invested too much in him. I've been dating him since high school. I've invested too much.
That's fucking dumb, dude.
It's so dumb.
That's stupid. That sucks.
And I was like, I was so dumbfounded. I didn't say anything. But I still cared for her, and I made that clear to her. And it wasn't like emotional. It wasn't romantic feelings. It was just like, look, you're my friend. We've been through hell together. I still care about you. Just like I care about the the Argentinian girl who's still over there, I care about her. Matter of fact, I care about all my friends. My friends, because I know what it's like to not have friends. I know what it's like to have enemies. I care about all my friends, dude. And even after I leave this place, I hope that me and you can still talk. I hope that the friends that I've made here, I can still talk to them. And I showed that to her. Like, look, I still care about you. And I remember our last night together. I remember running my hands through her hair. Like, kind of, she had a little bang. So I pulled it behind her ear. And I said, I don't regret anything. I don't regret anything. And that was the last time.
What'd she say to that?
She just smiled. And she said, I don't regret anything either.
Wow.
Even though that ended kind of bad, I still don't regret anything. And I don't know if I'll ever see her again. And I'm okay with that.
Fair enough.
I'm okay with that. For the little time that me and her spent together, she had a pretty big impact on me. She left her mark, no doubt about it. She left her mark. But just, it was funny because we were one of these nights that we were hanging out, we just talked about how all the teachers looked the same. They all wore like flowered pants. And I was like, is that a thing there? And like, I had such a bad attitude being in that convention.
Yeah.
Because it's like, come on. I was like, it's a bunch of people, teachers getting together and trying to make themselves feel good about them, like trying to, make themselves feel important.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm probably wrong. But I was like, I want nothing to do with this stupid convention thing.
Yeah.
This is dumb.
Because you don't care about that stuff, really.
It was just part of like, look, at the time, I didn't think that I was going to be part of the system anymore.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was just a bunch of young teachers going there, try to butter each other up, try to make themselves feel important. And I didn't want to be a part of that. I was like, dude, that's dumb. I had a bad attitude about it.
Yeah.
So instead of going to the conventions, this was in Chicago. So instead of going to like the teacher meetings, dude, I went to a jazz club.
You went to a jazz club?
I went to a jazz club.
That must have been awesome.
Dude, it was so awesome, dude. And I stayed up until effing 2 a.m. I was like, I'm going to enjoy myself while I'm here.
Man, I want to go to a jazz club someday.
Dude, they're the best, dude. And then the next day, you know what? I'm not going to the meetings. I'm not going to a convention. I'm not going to sit with these other teachers and pretend like I'm important. I want to go to the museum in Chicago. I went to the museum in Chicago. I was always doing something, but it's not until she left and I stayed like an extra day that I went to a couple meetings.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I had a bad attitude about it, and I didn't want to be part of that thing. But it was nice to see her again one last time, and we talked about the past, about what happened, and we said goodbye.
Oh.
And that's the end of that story.
Wow, man, that was a good story.
Maybe.
I mean, it was a pretty good story, man. It was heart touching.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it was an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster. And I left out a lot of stuff because I don't feel comfortable talking about it.
Had to modify the story, but it's all right. Yeah. It's all right, man. I mean, you told you told what you could tell, and
Yeah.
that's good enough for me, man.
Good. I hope it's enough for the listeners. I'm sure they all have their opinions about it.
It was still a good story.
Um,
And there's nothing you left out that you wanted to get to, like something you forgot about, or nah?
no, those were the two girls, and the girl from Oregon had the most significant impact on me.
All right.
She's really the one who left a mark on me. And yeah.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. And what's next? Life after Egypt, Ridgecrest, right?
Well, unless you want to do the untold stories next, and then finish up with the life after Egypt.
Yeah, we can mix it up a bit.
Okay, yeah, maybe next time we'll do the untold stories about Jordan and all that.
Jordan, Southeast Africa.
I mean, how long is that podcast gonna be?
Oh, that'll probably take some time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A lot happened, huh?
A lot happened, yeah. A lot happened.
Is that one that one guy like said some? I guess I'll talk to you about this off
the
air. Because I'm curious about if there's something you forgot to tell in one of the podcasts, or if it goes into the untold stories, or
I don't know, maybe.
No, probably going. Yeah, untold story. Anyway, guys, you know what? That was a good episode. You know, if anyone out there is,
if anyone cares.
I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say if anyone out there, has been through something like this, has dealt with depression, or has dealt with
loneliness,
or loneliness,
rebound.
Who's
been a rebound before?
Breakups.
Oh, breakups, jeez.
Yeah, man. I hope that this helped you or took you to another place.
Comment below.
And thanks you guys for listening. Seriously, it means the world to me that you put the time of day to listen to this podcast and hear my story, or not my story, but my documentation of these stories, your story. But anyway, guys, as usual, kick your feet up, grab a coffee, and ponder life.
Oh, jeez. Hey, I just want to say I appreciate to anyone who's listening out there. Thanks a lot. It means a lot. And thanks for listening.
All right.
All I can say. Thank you. Love
Thanks,
you guys.
Till next time, guys.
See you guys.
See you later.